Hello and welcome. Today I'm going to give you an art lesson on how to draw art pencils. So to start off, all we'll need at the beginning is a pencil, an eraser, our 9x12 piece of paper that I have taped half on, half off onto, in this case, a newspaper, but you can tape it onto any other surface that will do, and an extra piece of paper that I have cut into a 2-inch strip, and I found the middle, the center of it on this end. All right, let's get started. First, I'm going to use this 2-inch strip of paper to help me measure the size of the pencils that we'll be drawing. So I'm going to go ahead and lay it onto the edge of the paper, even though I know that part of that edge is beneath the tape. Next, I'm going to hold it still and use my pencil to draw a line right on the straight edge that was created by that piece of paper. I'm going to take this same piece of paper and work my way across the page until I get to the other side. So I'm going to start laying it right on the line I just drew, holding it steady, and drawing a line right down that side. Let's repeat. You can see on our 9x12 piece of paper that when we used a 2-inch wide strip of paper, we were able to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 empty spaces that will become 6 colored pencils. I've decided that I want an alternating pattern with a pencil going up, a pencil going down, a pencil going up, a pencil going down, up, down, all across the page, because that'll make it more interesting. So this is where I'm going to use this not only for the width of the pencil, but also to find the tip of the pencil. So I've measured the middle of the page, found the center, and that will represent the tip. So in my first section, I'm going to place it in the space and find how sharpened or how tall I want my pencil to be. So I'm going to have my pencil come about this high in the square. I could have had a super short pencil or a really tall pencil, but I think I'm going to go about an inch down, and then I'm going to put a mark there. That's where the tip of my pencil will be. Skip that one and find where the tip of this pencil will be. Now I could have them be all exactly the same, or I could vary them slightly. So I'm going to go down a little bit for variety, and then a taller one. All right, those will be my 3 pencils pointing up on the page. So alternately, I'm going to turn it upside down and make a mark for my 3 pencils pointing down on the page. Next, I'm going to draw a letter A shape using that point for the top of my letter A. So I'm going to go one side of my capital letter A, the other side of my capital letter A, and the line in the letter A. And I'm going to do that here too. Anyone who's sharpened pencils knows that sometimes it's not even. This one's pretty even though. Okay, then I'm going to do that little wiggle design that we see on our pencils by starting and stopping where the letter A touches that line. Now I have 3 of our pencils. So now it's going to be a little bit trickier going the other direction. If it wasn't taped to my door, I could just rotate the whole thing. So if you're working at a table, just rotate the whole thing and do a capital letter A again. But I get to use the letter V to help me in this situation. So here I go, here's my dot. And a line on it. And then the wiggles. Notice I don't have anything to erase because this line is for this pencil and these two lines are for this pencil and these two lines are for this pencil. So if you erase something, then you will be erasing part of one of these pencils that's going this way or that. To make the pencils stand out more, we're going to paint the negative space, the space between the pencils, gray. We have two choices now based on the supply list that you were given. If you have the black liquid watercolor, you can use that. Or if you have the Prang 8 color set, you can use the black paint from that set. I'm not going to use it super thick and sticky. I'm going to add water to it. We mostly want to be dark gray. So using the Prang set, I'm adding a little water. I have an ancient set. Yours will probably be white and plastic instead of black and metal. So if you notice when I paint with it, it's very watery and it ends up being a dark gray color. That's the negative space for the first pencil. And that's what it would look like with the Prang watercolors with water added to it. And so it's not sticky, it's like a dark gray. Let me illustrate what the Blick watercolor dye would look like. Again, I'm going to add a little water to my brush, kind of lighten that up a little, and then I will spread that in the negative space. I will continue with the liquid watercolor because I've already squirted it out and I don't like waste. But really, both are good choices. You can use the Prang watercolor or the liquid watercolor. Just make sure with the Prang watercolor that you are adding enough water to your paintbrush each time so that it doesn't get too sticky. You don't ever want to see a sticky sheen of color on top. You want it to look like a wash of color. All right, I'm going to keep coloring these to get all the negative space gone. Notice how painting the negative space really makes those 6 pencils show up. And you can see a slight difference between the 5 spaces that I used the liquid watercolor dye and the 1 space that I used the Prang. And so before I move on, I'm going to go ahead and put the liquid watercolor dye on top of that so that my picture matches. But whatever you chose, just do them all that way and it will work out really nicely. Now that we've drawn our pencils and inked the negative space or the space that's not the pencils, we're going to begin to color them. We're going to be using Expressionist Oil Pastels by Cray-pas, and this is just a little preview of where we're going. This is sort of what they'll look like when we get finished. I'm going to go in rainbow order, and the colors I'm going to use from this 25 color set should also be found in your 12 color set. I'm going to be using a light orange color, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, and purple, and white. So first off, we're going to color the wooden part of our colored pencils, and we're going to use this light orange color. I have already used this past the label where it says what it is, so it's only available in 2 other languages, but it did say light orange over here. The other thing that you're going to need when we start coloring is just some paper towel. And one of the reasons why you're going to use this is you can see I've got other colors on here, so I'm just going to twist it in the paper towel to get that clean so that I don't have another color on there at this point. Oftentimes I'm not too concerned when colors mix because I like the interest that creates. But for this part, I want to be able to just color with this. Truth be told, the graphite from the pencil drawings is still going to mix in this oil pastel, but that's all right. At least we have controlled that part. All right, so I'm going to get started, and I'm going to color pretty hard to get this part of the pencil that nice light orange color. So it looks like a light wood. Take a look at that. You can see I've pressed pretty hard and there aren't many white spaces left. And so the other thing that I'm going to do is I'm just going to use my finger to kind of push that around and fill in any extra spaces. I didn't press super hard when I was blending because I do want a nice layer of that color on there. And just to show you what it looks like, I'm going to go on my pencil line and put that in there. See, it can get a little muddy from going on the pencil. I'm not terribly worried. I'm going to color a little bit more on there. So if that happens to you, don't be too concerned. When the whole picture is done, it'll happen sometimes and it's not going to be a problem. Now I'm going to continue and color all of those places light orange. Okay, now that we have all the wooden pencil areas colored light orange, I'm going to find my white oil pastel and clean it off so that I can put a highlight on the highest part of the wood of the pencil. So right now everything is flat, like a square rectangle, just flat. And we're going to use white to increase the dimension. So in the middle, I'm just going to put kind of color a number 1 right in the middle of that orange section. And right now it may appear strange, but at the end it will have the effect of creating dimension on our pencils. Here's the red one, and I'm going to clean it off. And this will go in the first pencil space. So I'm just going to start by coloring the whole thing red. Remember, as you're using these video lessons, that you can press pause or rewind at any time if you need more time on something, because I will have to be cutting time out when I'm coloring because we don't want the video to be 3.5 hours long. So now I've got that part all colored, and I'm going to also color this part red because this is the red colored pencil. This is just from coloring. So now I'm going to take my finger and blend it in a little to fill in any white spots. If you find that it's hard on your finger to do this, you can take a piece of your paper towel and fold it a few times till it gets pretty hard itself, and then you can use this to blend. If you do that, you may have to color on top again because doing this to blend makes it get quite thin on the paper. And I like to have a little more oil pastel on the surface that I can mix the new color in, because the next step is to take the blue one, cobalt blue hue is what this one says, but any blue that you have is going to do for this. And the blue is going to help us with our shadow. So on the side where the pencil is meeting the next pencil is the farthest point down. So I'm going to draw a line of blue right on top of that red. You can see it's thicker than just a single line, so I colored it a little widely to get it a little more than just a skinny line. And then this is pretty important. When I blend it, I'm going to go in the direction of the line to blend it. So I'm going to put my finger there and pull it, and it's very oily and very slippery, and you can just feel it as it slides across there. So that's going to be the shadow on our red pencil. And now I'm going to use the white again for the highlight. So clean it off from the peach and color that white line right in the center of that pencil. So that first pencil now is complete. Oh, oops. I want to make sure I put a little white dot on the pencil lead too. Okay, next, orange. So we're going to color this pencil orange. Here it is where I've just colored the orange. I haven't done any blending or added any other colors. I've just been coloring it with the orange. And so now I'm going to take my finger and blend it. Hey, look, my finger still had the other color on it. Okay, so the paper towel is going to be helpful for our finger too. Who knows, maybe if you have baby wipes, you could do that. So I'm going to clean my finger off, and I'm even going to try to use my paper towel to clean off that smudge a little. Look, it worked. Okay, and I'm going to put more color back on there. I think when stuff like that happens, it's probably the best part of the lesson because that happens to everyone, and it's good to know how to take care of it when it happens. So you can see it's still a little darker, but that's not going to be problematic because when we put more colors and stuff on, you're barely even going to notice that one with the finished project. Okay, so now I'm going to blend. For the orange pencil, I think the blue color will be too dark for its shadow, and I kind of want a different tone. So I'm going to choose purple to be the shadow for my orange. When I use purple with orange, it's not going to turn green, which I don't enjoy in my shadows, for oranges especially. So I'm going to do the same thing that I did with the red and color a line that's a little wider than a thin line, a thick line of purple. It's going to go on both sides though. I'm using really good pressure, and then I'm going to turn it this way so that I can take my finger and pull across to blend that in with my finger. So that blends that purple into the orange, blends that purple into the orange. And where's the white? Here's the white. Clean it off. And add that nice highlight in the middle of my pencil. Okay, 2 pencils in. This is so much fun. I wish we could be doing it all together, but we are doing it together just in a different way. So really, when you finish this project, save your pictures. I want to see them, and I'm hopeful that we will get to share them together soon. Let's color the third pencil yellow. And then we'll blend it with our finger. We'll use the purple one for the shadow again. Purple and yellow isn't going to be green, so it'll be nice. Alright, so I'm going to turn it sideways so that I can pull the shadow across with my finger. Purple and yellow, so I'm going to put my finger here and I'm going to pull it across. See how that smooths it? And you can see it drags it across the tape there, so the tape helps us see that we're having an effect too. I'm kind of blending that, and we'll clean off the white one. And draw that line in the middle. And the white on the lid. Okay, next, green. Blend it. We're going to use the blue one to be the shadow for the green. So take the blue, yes. Color that shadow line on the sides. Turn it so I can blend. Pull that blue across. Clean off the white. That white line in the middle. highlight on the lid. And now we get to do the blue pencil. I had to take the wrapper off because it was getting too short. Now I can color with the blue. Blend in that blue. Now, what do you think we're going to do for the shadow for the blue pencil? We've used blue as our darkest shadow here on the red pencil and here on the green pencil. We used purple on the lighter colors, the yellow and the orange. What are we going to do for the blue? Well, surprisingly enough, red is the best color to do the shadow on the blue. And look at the clue on how we figured that out. The blue on the red looks darker than the blue on the pencil. So that's what we'll do. We'll smooth that shadow in. Becomes a dark purple. We'll get our white one, get our highlight, and on the lid. And our last pencil, we're going to color purple. And for the purple pencil, we're going to use a blue shadow. Now you may be wondering, before we color this, let's look at this. You may be wondering, why did we have two shadows on these pencils, but only one shadow on the first pencil? And again, we're only going to do this side for the shadow for our last pencil. Good question if you were wondering that. The reason why is because the pencil is actually wider than the space that's left over. Part of the pencil would have been under where the tape is, so there'll be no color there at all or over here. It's going to go off the page on both sides. And that's why we only see the shadow side as it touches the pencil next to it. So now you know. And the blue should work out very nicely. And that's because we had a 12-inch piece of paper and we used a 2-inch measuring to draw our pencils. So we started where the tape is covering. Let's pull that across. Our white one and clean it off. You see, sometimes I have to color several times to get that color to show up. Our pencil drawing is now finished, and we're going to take the tape off. Before you take the tape off, I recommend that you clean your fingerprints so that you don't get color on those crisp edges. And then you're going to pick the corners free first. And then we're going to remove the tape low and at a right angle, pulling away from our image so that it makes that capital letter L shape. And then rotate, and rotate. Ta-da! Look! It looks great from any angle. So your picture could be a tall picture, it could go this way. It looks great from all sides. So we did it! Thank you for joining me today as we made the colored pencils. Save pictures of your artwork, save your artwork. We'll get together soon so we can talk about these, and I'm looking forward to seeing everything that you've done. Also, you can play around, use some different colors, try different shadows, try maybe colored pencils that are rainbow pencils. Have fun with this. It's really been enjoyable offering you this lesson. See you soon. Bye.